Okay, I think we'll get started. I am Megan Kimatek, Director of Leadership and Awards at ACTE, and I am thrilled to be here today to kick off our panel today, our webinar today on equity for remote learning. I just have a few housekeeping items, and then I will hand it over to Imago. First, I just wanted to remind everybody, thank you for your time today, and we hope that you guys will join us for some upcoming IAED webinars. You know, this is a series for about a year we're doing, one per month. The next one is a really different format where we will have a short film about ambition, pioneers, and skirts. And it's sort of about empowering women in STEM. So we hope that everyone could join us for that one. And I believe the date has actually changed to July 13th for that. So more information is on our website, but it's at the same time at 4 o'clock. So yeah. And then you can see the other ones coming up as well. And most of you should have the calendar invites from me. If you don't, please feel free to email me and I will send you those calendar invites. With that, we also, our IAD mentorship program, if you don't know about it, we have started a mentorship program that began this past year. And you can see sort of the goals of the program. And it's a very popular program. And right now that we are open for applicants for the mentor side of things, which is from June 1st to August 31st. So if you're interested in being an IAD mentor, please find more information on this link and apply. We'll be opening the mentee applications later this summer as well, which can also be seen on the link. So we hope you guys will consider being a mentor or a mentee. And with that, those were my only housekeeping items. So I will hand it over to Imago today, who is an ed tech firm that focuses on social and emotional learning. They work with school districts nationwide and impact 500,000 people annually. So we are thrilled to have them here today to talk to us. So with that, I will hand it over to Melissa and Edgar.
Thanks, Megan. We appreciate you. So if we can start our presentation, then we'll be good. It's weird, I don't see any faces other than my own, so I assume that you all have faces out there. So, all right, so thank you, everyone. We're gonna talk a little bit about so a communication tool that really addresses inclusion, access, equity, and diversity. So today's agenda is we're gonna do a quick soaking activity, then we're gonna just give you the tool, and then at the end, we would love your feedback and give you some information how to connect with us. This will take 45 minutes. The rules are, we love your participation. Please chat as much as you can since we can't see you or hear you. Build on the energy of others or the chat on others. And then, of course, we'd love for you to embrace the awkward. That means basically come to perhaps learn a few things and something that might be out of your comfort zone. Do you all agree to what's about to happen to you? Again, I can't see any faces. Thank you, Amy, for the chat. Yes. All right, at least one of you. All right, any questions, throw them in the chat. Melissa will read the questions out loud. Thank you for all the yeses, I see those. And then exit policy, I don't know you're there, and if this isn't something that you're interested in, Melissa and I won't be bad if you, we will not be sad if you turn off your camera and go eat lunch or check your emails. But hopefully this is gonna be valuable information to you. So, all right, again, not seeing your faces, I'm trusting that you're gonna do this with me. And this is super important that you take 2 minutes to let me control your mind for a minute, three minutes. So the activity that I ask you to do, and Melissa will do it with me, since I just want to make see one other person doing this, is I'm going to ask you to kind of get rid of all the things in your hands and take a pointer finger, either hand, right or left, and I want you to kind of raise it above your head. And I want you to look above your head and imagine a basketball-sized circle. Okay, you see that circle up above your head and you're pointing at it. Now I want you to trace the basketball-sized circle in a clockwise fashion, all right? So keep the circle going and keep tracing it, all right? You're just gonna keep tracing this clockwise basketball-sized circle over your head. And as you continue that circle going and tracing, I want you to lower your hand a little slower. Lower your hand a little bit more. You're still tracing the circle. Lower your hand. Lower it. Now it's about in front of your nose. Lower it now outside your chin. Lower it even more where it's in front of your belly. Are you still tracing a clockwise circle? Please chat me your answers.
Nope. Yes.
Okay. This is the point where if we're in person, I'm going, I release you from my mind control. And then some of you are like, what are you doing to me? And then some people can't draw circles. And it's a spiral. Okay, good. Thank you for the chats. I'm reading and I'm feeling the energy. Does anybody who hasn't done this before know what I just did to you?
Nope.
Nope. Right. There, it was mind control. Okay, it wasn't.
There we go. We got
All right,
them.
there we go. Carl said it, right? Carl, what we did was we changed your perspective, right? And that's a tool that we want to give to you today as educators that you can go back and if you want to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, perspective is a really big piece of it. And when we moved from 2 feet, it took us maybe 20 seconds, and we flipped our entire perspective. Now you can take that back to your classroom and students say, imagine the person who's sitting right next to you, who's lived 20 miles away, 20 different years, 10 different years. Imagine how their perspectives are going to be different, right? And it could change that quickly. So thanks for doing that. I hope that was fun for those of you who thought I was controlling your mind, but I'm not that powerful. All right. Real quick, just who Imago is, really, I know Megan gave us a quick kind of boilerplate who we are, but really what we want to share with you is we're shenanigators. We love to play, we love to learn, we love to create. And what we want is we want to embed social emotional learning into all things so that we can start to redefining what success looks like. And it matters because we know that we need this to navigate this complex world. And we've been living in this world before the pandemic and it was already complex. So we just continue to add complexity as we live through it. We do this is our team. We've been fortunate enough been doing this from early teens, 2013. We work nationwide and we're here in California. We do this 2 different ways. We have a learning platform to scale these ideas on topics that are similar or that you can see on the screen. There's over like 200 lessons. And we do this with wraparound professional development because a lot of these topics and things we talk about aren't things that a lot of our educators are classically trained upon. Real quick, we just wanted to share with you our social emotional or our emotional intelligence lens. And this is really something we use to make sure that, hey, if we're going to tackle emotional intelligence, it's not this daunting giant topic to address, but when we say, hey, we need kids with soft skills or we need better leaders or our students aren't prepared, we break down our model, and there's a lot of models out there, into these 6 different categories. If Melissa can just click through real quickly. And that allows us to kind of, when we want to laser focus on different component parts, if students aren't listening or they're having issues in the classroom culture, we can really focus on these things: self-awareness, relationship skills, ethical decision-making. All these things, as you read on the screen, these are areas that we can help as educators laser focuses and target on when we're doing our training and teaching in this space.
Awesome.
Okay.
So you went through it pretty quickly. Yeah. So as we continue going through this, Edgar's going to chime in here. We're going to use the term meeting as an assembly of people. So thinking of different engagements with folks. So coming together of 2 or more individuals. So meeting, using and thinking of it that way and interchanging it from maybe your classroom to staff meetings, PLCs to webinars, whatever it may be. But thinking of it in interaction with more than one person. So that's our definition today. So as we get into this, what are some things that bug you about meetings? Feel free to use the chat and put some ideas or thoughts in there. And we'll kind of see and run through it. But what are things that that bug you about them?
Sit and get. Meeting just to meet. People repeat what have been said. Lack of focus. No outcomes. Mostly talk, little action. Talking circles with no resolution. Each meeting has a huge to-do list. Meetings have no agenda. They don't follow the agenda. Sometimes they take away from the work that you can do.
Awesome. We got lots
Okay.
of thoughts in there.
Lack of knowledge, purpose, taking time to get the work done, too long, may not relate to everyone. Rabbit holes. Okay. Run over, no decision resolutions. If we did this in a live session, we'd let you all be in groups of 4 or 5, and we would just let you get it all out. But you're right. These are all things that, yeah, can it be communicated in email? Those are the worst. Yeah, we feel you.
All right. So some stats that are going to come up, and Edgar again can chime in here, but you'll see that we have over 25 million meetings in a year. Like, this is crazy, the amount of meetings and days and, you know, how much money is spent on them. And then thinking about, you know, executives and how many people are actually multitasking during a meeting, checking their emails, you know, doing unrelated activities, as you said, maybe you just didn't find value in what the time was together. And then thinking about our students. So as an adult, we're doing this, you know, in our, interactions in meetings, or when we're meeting together. Well, think about our students and online learning, right? How many of them were actually paying attention to what they should have been paying attention to, or were engaged in multiple activities, multiple things going on while in Zoom classes? I'm pretty sure if adults can't do it, our kids, their attention span is going to be even more tasked, right?
Oh, maybe your kids do it better. They're always an upgrade, right?
Yeah, maybe. And yes, yeah. So thinking about our students and their days and the subject matters that they have, that's a lot that they're going through as well. So we just again wanted to highlight some of the numbers of what's going on out there.
That's a lot of meetings a year. 72 billion?
Yeah, it's a lot of kids, a lot of meetings. And then even through the IAED lens, participation in different school districts has definitely been low. And depending on the demographics, what's going on, you know, there's a variety of things and factors going on, but we know that participation has been low. And so how might we ensure that everyone feels equally engaged and ideally shows up? Now, we can't guarantee that they're going to turn on their cameras every time. We can't guarantee that they're actually going to log on, but when they do, and you have them captured in that moment, we're going to help give you a tool to kind of get that going and make it clear and concise as possible. So a goat race, chat your answer that you might think of what the term goat race means. And for those of you that may have attended one of our sessions before, maybe hold back a little bit, but we'll definitely give you some time to share at the end. I didn't pull on my chat.
Everyone thinks it's a tool and an acronym. No clue.
No clue.
Large version of a rat race. I like it. I won't give it away, but I love the inclusion part of the goat race for meetings. 1, loudest person dominates.
This is actually, the answer is actually all 3. So Edgar cracks me up and goes and finds meanings. So number 1 is actually true as well. So, but yes, it's going to be all of these things on the screen, and we're going to go through it here together. So we're going to give you different components and pieces to walk away with. And the reason is when you have clear expectations, roles, it's easier to foster that environment, encourages participation. Everyone has an opportunity to share their thoughts in the way that you set up your goat race.
And that's super key when it comes to inclusion, access, equity, and diversity, to create that environment and atmosphere where people feel safe to speak their ideas and their perspectives. We can't speak more to it than how important that is to create that atmosphere. And again, goat race, we'll get to there.
All right, so 8 letters is what we're going to start with, a goat race. The first one being G, starting with gratitude. It's as simple as saying, thank you for showing up today. Edgar and I appreciate your time here today. We know how valuable your time is, so we appreciate that you're here. If you're in your classroom or another meeting, just again, acknowledging, hey, I appreciate you showed up today, and I'm grateful for that. So starting off with that positive tone of gratitude when you begin a meeting is really impactful, and again, sets the tone with something that is in a positive sense.
How many of you have been to meetings where no one thanks you for coming, and you hustled there, right? And it's probably, time is your most valuable commodity. How does that make you feel? You don't have to answer it unless you want to.
Or have you ever walked in and nobody's acknowledged that you're even attended? Like,
Oh,
you know,
unappreciated, devalued, just another cog in the wheel, underappreciated. Yeah. Invisible.
so as adults, we might have those feelings, and think about when we're interacting with our youth, when we have that opportunity as well. You saying thank you for being here today may be the first positive thing they've heard that day. And what a nice way to start off the morning or the class with them.
Yeah, and I'm not assuming that we're only with students here. We may have administrators at this, and so thinking about that as you run your PLCs or any kind of the meetings that you direct with your coworkers.
Awesome, thank you for that, Edgar. So again, G is for gratitude. The O in the GOAT race is for outcomes. What are you hoping to accomplish by the time you're done today? So for us, our outcome was to give you a communication tool to start meetings with. That is our outcome, that's our objective, and that's what we want to leave you with during our time. An outcome is usually short and concise. It's one sentence of like, this is what we're gonna do and what we're going to accomplish during our time together. It can vary depending on what your situation is or what the meeting's about. But again, it's something that's clear, concise, and to the point.
Right, again, a lot of your comments earlier tonight said, I mean, how many times did you go into a meeting and you don't know why you're there, right? Why are we here, right? I know it's a standing Wednesday meeting, but what's the deal? So again,
what's the purpose? What's the outcome?
Yeah, if you don't know what the outcome is, how does that make you feel?
Good to move on?
Yeah, well, no one has feelings for this one, so I'll read them if they come up. We all need a purpose. Yeah, it's an expensive meeting, thinking about it. If you have 20 people in there or 10 people in there, and they're adults, it's a waste of time. And again, for kids, I think we all seen the Simon Sinek video, start with the why, right? Every day, every lesson, we can start with the why.
Yep, what you want them to learn during that time. Absolutely. So now that you have your outcome, your next piece is the agenda. How are you going to get to that outcome? So the agenda is laid out, in sequential order, how you're going to get there, how much time you're spending on it, and what is going to be covered during that meeting. Most of us are familiar with an agenda. We know what that is and how to put one together. But again, just understanding that this is our roadmap. This is how we're going to get to that outcome. And these are the points and the places that we need to go in order to get there.
Right. And while most of us are familiar, again, if we're doing this on a regular basis with our kids, they're going to start understanding that, hey, I like an agenda, and they'll start taking these practices into adulthood so that we can get rid of all those billions of meetings that the world says are not productive, right? Start to form these really good habits. How we get there.
How we get there. Yep. And then time. The T is for time. How long is this meeting going to be? How long are we going to be sitting in this session? We like to share with you 45 minutes. We try our darndest not to keep you past the time we say. And we want to ensure that we know your time is valuable and we're not going to take up more than we need to. This is really important because how many times have you been in a meeting where you've looked at the clock or you've looked at your watch and been like, what? Wait, how long was this supposed to be? Was it a 30-minute? Now it's an hour? Again, not sure about it and being a little confused. And then your mind might wonder, when am I going to be done? With explicitly telling them how long you're going to be there, how long this is going to take, can help you put your mind at ease and how long this process will be.
Yeah, I mean, again, how does that make you feel if you just go into a meeting and you don't know if this thing will be till 10 o'clock at night?
Or if it did take till 10 o'clock at night, how awful would that make you feel?
Not respected is an answer, yeah. School board meetings. Worse, they say it's an hour and it runs long. Melissa says we try not to go over, and we really rarely go over because we have a timer. Sometimes I've lost track of time. That's fair. Yeah, timers are great. We actually have I have a timer right here on the side. On your phone.
And the other piece with the time is asking for permission to go longer. So, if it is 45 minutes, hey, we're at a really good spot. We know we need to be done now. If you need to leave now. But those of you that want to stay, feel free to do so. We don't want to, we know how valuable, again, your time is. So acknowledging that when you get to that moment.
Yeah.
Rules. This is my favorite part of the GOAT race. Rules are your expectations, yours and the participants, the attendees' expectations of what and how they should act or interact during this meeting. So if you mentioned or remember, Edgar and I asked you to embrace the awkward. So that's like really just, being familiar or being comfortable with taking risk or doing something maybe you're not as comfortable with. Participation builds energy, and then, chat your questions. So if you are in another type of meeting, you could have specific rules to say, hey, this is technology-free meeting, which I don't think that happens anymore because everybody's on a Zoom or something, but maybe put your phones down for a little bit. Hey, this is, 70-30 rule. We're going to talk for this amount of time, and then we're going to be quiet for this amount of time. We're going to allow everyone an opportunity to share out their feelings, and then we're going to, stop at this moment. Rules can be there can be very strict ones, and then there can be a little bit more fun ones, like, let's laugh with each other, not at each other. Let's, remember or seek love. Edgar likes that one. Remember to, have fun. And one of my favorites is there's no right or wrong answers. Depending on what you're teaching or what you're engaging in, saying that there's not right or wrong answers, we just really want to hear your thoughts, is really impactful and sets folks at ease as well.
Yeah, some of the comments is difficulties having speakers, norms, and a timer for people speaking. I think, yes, this is a great spot to discuss. Hey, so when you speak up, I want you to just be brief. We're going to keep it to 30 seconds or less because we don't have enough time for these 5-minute anecdotal stories about kind of where we're going or what you're thinking about. So please keep it brief, and I will ask you to shorten your answer or just say, hey, can we take this offline if that happens? So those are good comments. And, I know we use the word rules, and some people would rather use the word norms, but it didn't really fit into our acronym. GOAT, NACE. Doesn't make sense. Sorry, guys.
And with the rules, sometimes you might have different rules for different meetings or different engagements. You may have house rules. I know at Imago, we usually use that term, house rules, which everybody, understands and knows. But again, depending on your first interaction with folks, you may decide to agree upon the rules or decide to make those rules up together.
Yeah,
So
and I'll also add, depends on, like, especially if you're teaching the type of class, if you're in a classroom setting, like, hey, today we're going to get messy. So the rules are keep all fire to yourself, clean up your space, and, just clean up your space and make sure you don't drop things. But maybe the next day is all about, hey, today we're going to do quiet time, lots of reading, head down, raise your hand if you have questions, right? And so if you keep changing those rules again, or those norms, you're going to, your learners are going to know that today's a different kind of learning day.
Very good points. So after your rules comes the agreement. This is where your attendees, your participants actively engage in the GOAT race. You ask them, do you agree with the rules? Do you agree with what's about to happen to you? Edgar likes to say that one. It allows those that are in attendance to, one, participate and to agree to something. And it also helps to keep and hold people accountable to the rules. So say it's something about, we want to keep our conversation short and concise, no sidebar conversations, no rabbit holes today. When those things start happening, you can politely and nicely say, hey, we agreed to this, and we weren't going to focus on, or we weren't going to allow ourselves to go down those rabbit holes today. Let's come back to where we're at now. So again, the participants, the attendees, your students, those in the meeting agree to it, and then that helps you to be able to hold them accountable to what's going on in that time.
This replaces the any questions comment. I feel like the world is used to any questions and not kind of engaging. But in live, if we did this, and if I could see your faces, I would make sure that all the thumbs are up and you're nodding your head. So it's a really good technique here to pause and really look every person in the eye and go, do we agree? I'm going to wait, right? Because then they're like, oh, what am I agreeing to? Now that time you do this GOAT racing, like, I'm going to pay attention to these rules because they're making me agree to something, right? So it really brings a lot of, active involvement.
Absolutely. Awesome. And then here's the opportunity to ask, are there any clarifying questions about what I've just presented? Literally on what was just presented to you. Do you have any questions about that? Do you have any adds to the agenda? This could allow somebody to be able to, add something in like, oh, I wanted to make sure we touched on this today. This is the opportunity to do that. So are there any questions with what's, we've covered so far about where this meeting is going? And how many of us could have asked a question or would love to have been able to ask a question at the beginning of a meeting and not wait till the end, because then you're fixated on that question and not learning during what you should be learning during that time. Anything to add there, Edgar?
You're doing great.
All right. And the last piece is our exit policy. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily know how to handle this one or how to kind of embrace this one. But an exit policy is really just allowing folks to be able to check out if they need to check out. Like we had mentioned, it's a virtual training. That's been our theme for the last 18 months is if you leave, especially on this, we don't necessarily see. So if you need to take off, we understand our feelings aren't going to be hurt. So it allows you to either mentally check out or if you need to step away, be able to step away and not feel guilty for doing so. Edgar can add on when we give this exit policy for students, because I know that sometimes can be very challenging for teachers.
So we love to do this in conferences because adults, they can leave anytime they want. Most of the time they don't now, but with students, this is a harder conversation to be had, but if you do allow the students to say, hey, maybe if you're just not in it today, go ahead, put your head down, just don't bother us. Or if you have space in the back of the room, please go take a seat in the back and, we get it. Right. And again, it's kind of counterintuitive because you want the kids to be there, but if you try it, you'll start to see that you start to build this kind of level of equity and engagement because we don't know what's happening to our kids on a daily basis, where they're coming from. And sometimes they do just need a break, just like we all do. So try it out, figure out how that might work for the different settings and meetings you run.
Another addition can be if you're going to have breaks during a meeting or during a session, acknowledging those, say, hey, I need you all here for this amount of time, and then we're going to take a break, and that's your exit. Feel free to check out on those things, check out, take care of yourself during that time. Again, you can build in ways to show that there's going to be breaks so that folks don't feel the need that they can't leave or can't, go somewhere else. It is fun to tell teachers, if I like saying educators and other sessions, we've said, if at any point I'm boring you, feel free to pick up your phone and start checking your email, because then I know that I need to readjust and engage you in a different manner because whatever I'm presenting isn't working. So again, that can be an exit policy as well. So those are different components that we like to include in the exit policy.
You didn't see that.
Yeah. So all of that to be said, we've been talking, for a good chunk of time. It's a race. A goat race should be done in about 60 seconds. So it doesn't take 10 minutes or, 15 or 30 minutes like we're doing here in our presentation. It's a race. It's something that takes practice, but it's done in a very fast manner so that you and your participants understand what is going to happen, how you're going to get there, and what is expected of them. And if you do take 10 minutes to introduce your goat race, you're going to lose people because then they're like, wait, what is this? What am I working on? How are we getting there? It's something that you use to quickly give expectations, clearly identify what's about to happen, and allow for everybody to be aware of where you're going.
It matches our attention levels today.
Absolutely. Thinking of our students and of, again, and our each other and all of the, how short our attention spans are, making sure that we clearly explain all these things in a fast manner helps us to be ready to go. All right. So with that, we are going to invite someone in the chat, to challenge Edgar on a goat race. And when I say challenge Edgar, think of a scenario. It could be a fun scenario, it could be a work setting scenario, but give us a scenario to come up with a goat race.
Yeah, I'll pick one professional scenario that's put in the chat, and I'll pick one personal scenario because you could use these for all types of meetings. And the personal one, if you try to make me sweat, I think I could do it.
guts.
You're not gonna like the ones I pick. All right, Melissa, I'm gonna challenge you, I guess.
No, you were challenged.
The challenge is give us a family game night. All right, so I'm gonna goat race family game night in 60 seconds or less. Thanks, family. I really appreciate you putting down your screens, turning off the TV, and coming to the dinner table to be with us for family game night. Today's objective is for us to really be together and complete a game and maybe learn a couple like social skills. The agenda is we're all argue about we're gonna take that gets the most votes we're going to play, and we're going to play it for the time that we're going to take is going to an hour. Here are the rules. Positive comments, no no criticism when someone does something wrong, and no crying and no stomping off if you're losing. Do we all agree to what we're about to do to each other with each other? Any questions on the rules or the agenda? Okay, exit policy, we all can leave in 1 hour, but if you have to go to the restroom or grab some ice cream, I totally get it. All right, so that was, okay, faculty meeting, that was my personal one. A homeowners association board meeting. Okay. Call to order the Laguna Lake board meeting for June 2021. Thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate you coming in from, I know you could be at the lake right now, but you being at this conference room here on the side of the lake is probably the next best thing. Thank you for giving your time and energy for this process. The agenda is we're going to talk about all the complaints in everyone's houses that we want to send letters to, and then talk about any rules that we want to add that will stop this stuff from happening. The time of this should take 45 minutes. Here are the rules. Let's keep all sidebar conversations to a minimum. I know we have a lot of ideas. If you have pictures, please bring those of all the obscenities that you've seen around the neighborhood. And then other ideas, just keep those questions and stuff for the end. The time, do we all agree to what's about to happen here? Okay. Any clarity on the rules of the agenda? Exit policy. If you want to leave, take off. You know what? You're gonna not be here anyway. Just leave. Go get the cabana. Get on your golf cart and go home.
Okay. One person needs to talk at a time. There you go. Great job.
One person needs to talk at a time. Yes, that's right. I've never been in a homeowners association, so I just made that up. But thank you. The done to you language. Yes, hierarchical, not collaborative. Yeah, it's better done when you're standing in front of people and kind of smiling. You've already said hi to everyone. You know them. You could totally change what's going to happen to you language. You could say, do you agree to what we're going to do together? Absolutely. Good point, Dan.
Yeah.
All right, Melissa.
All right, so that was our version and our fun and then serious one. We invite you to practice your goat race. And so we'll give you a few minutes to write one out. Usually when we're in sessions, we have you read one out or a few of them out and let you practice and go through it that way. With today's technology, we're going to invite you to write your goat race out on your own. And then if you have a quick one, maybe somebody could type it in. That might take a little bit of time, but we'll see. We'll see where we go. So we're going to invite you to take a few minutes to write out a goat race. You're going to start with your gratitudes, your outcome, your agenda, how much time it would take, and again, your rules, agree, clarity, and exit. Feel free to use it for something that's happening now in your professional life, or it could be something, again, that's happening in maybe your personal life. We've heard them all, and it's been fun and seeing them from different perspectives. So again, take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll kind of wrap it up here with our 6 minutes that we have left.
Yeah, and know that again, your intention is to get through it in less than a minute. So there's not going to be a lot of details for each of your agenda items. One sentence, maybe two max.
And as you're doing that, I'll be honest and share something with me, especially as you know, working at Imago for the last few years. I still like to write out my goat race. It's something I like to make notes on. I want to make sure I hit all of my points. You can see we do it in our PowerPoints, but we also in our presentations. But when I'm in front of folks, I make sure that I have something or even a sticky with all the different pieces on it, so that I'm comfortable in making sure I hit all my notes that I want to deliver. So it's something that gets, you know, used to using and incorporating into what you're doing. It takes practice, but writing down is helpful too.
All right, I'll put some music on for 5 minutes and we'll come back at 11:40 and then we'll have 5 minutes left to be done. Okay, I want to bring us all back here. Before we move on, I wanted to just ask people to chat in their ideas of how this process might address inclusion, access, and equity in your worlds. How do you think this could help those of you used it? How's this helped? Or those of you who might use it, how do you think this could affect the culture that you're building either in your classroom or in your school community? So chat those up. So Susan says, gives everyone a chance to express their views, even with just the procedure. Makes them visible so everyone feels like they're in the know. My students have many obligations and have diverse backgrounds. This can help them feel valued, like they and their time is important. All have a voice. Let's give structures to the meetings. I love that it's fast. It's irritating when people don't get to the point. Puts everyone on equal ground in meetings. Gives consistency for all to understand expectations. I strongly believe the process of goat race creates a welcoming experience and allows for individuals' needs to be met through the expression of the exit options, rules, and agreement. In rules, can we assign roles? Sure. Take what you need from the goat race and make it your own. Goat race is a kind of a association of a lot of things we've learned over the years. Everyone knows the expectations and feels valued. So I want, again, just wanting to tie this back to IEAD, right? I think the answers that the group has already stated there in the chat that I just read, those are the reasons why this is important for us if we're working towards building that kind of a culture in our classrooms or in our school communities. So we would love to invite you to continue practicing those. But we do have a video for you at the end. Melissa, if you want to go, if that hasn't kind of seeped in, I want to say something where my phrase before you watch this video, and go ahead and click it, Melissa, is all scars aren't bad. All right, so yeah, that was also a goat race. Okay, so at the end, as we asked for your feedback, yeah, those Diane, those were little stuffed goats riding goats. We want to give our contact information if you have any questions or would like, you know, the presentation was recorded, so you can have that. But if you need a goat race document, email us. Our contact information is there. We have access to the platform if you want to check out some of the curricula we do. I want to invite you all to email Melissa and myself if you are interested in swag. We would give this to you in person. we will mail these to you. If you email us your mailing address, we will send you an Imago sticker, a Seek to Love sticker, right? And then if you are interested in a t-shirt that Melissa and I have, send us your shirt size in the shirt, in the email. So those are all kind of the offers we have for you. If you have any feedback on this, we'd love for you to chat. What did you like about the session? There's a lot of questions. You're going to use this. How are you going to use this in your world? And what can Melissa and I have done to do this better? Please kind of fold those into the chat because we have 2 minutes left. How much is the shirt? If you win, we'll get you a shirt. We don't have a shirt store yet. We probably should, right?
Good. Annette, to address who came up with Goat Race, I'm going to give Edgar most of the credit for that one because we were in our space one day and he was coming up with all these different acronyms of all the different components, and it was hysterical and painful all at the same time. What we agreed upon, Goat Race, and that's where it's lived for years. And that's
we've been around educators so much that we're like, you have all your own acronyms. We need to come up with one to drop on you sometimes, right? So no, it's you've really rubbed off on us a lot. Thank you so much. Is there a certificate for this session? It's fun. We actually don't have a certificate, but if you want to be part of the IEAD Mentorship Program, there is I believe there is going to be a certificate for completing that, and we are the core curricula and trainers for that program. So if you haven't looked at kind of what they're doing at ACTE when it comes to the Mentee Mentorship Program, please check that out. You'll see a lot more of us if you do decide to sign up for the coming years.
One add I wanted to make, and because I didn't bring this up earlier, was one of our educators introduced Goat Race to his students, and they used it in their leadership classes whenever they started a project or started engaging in leadership and discussion. So again, I just wanted to highlight where it's relevant. It can be used with students. It can be used in, again, those professional meetings, those homeowners meetings, all of those places, and some others as well. I'm sure you can figure those out. But again, students, adults, all using it. So making it applicable.
Yeah, and again, we want to end, it's right on time. We want to say, I'm reading the chat. If you want to read it, appreciate that, but I can't read all those. You have a lot of really kind comments. So we want to thank you all for staying with us. Thank you for the kind words. And we, again, invite you to try it. Again, it's going to be hard at the beginning, but you can get through it. So thank you so much for choosing us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa and Edgar. This was awesome. I think everyone agrees how engaging and great it was for our group. And per the chat, a few things. We will be posting this online. I dropped the link a few times, but it was recorded and it'll be posted on our webinar site. I mentioned at the beginning that our mentorship program is open for mentors. If you want to join that program, I had a slide about it, and it is on our website as well, and it'll be open until August 31st. There's also a mentee application that'll be opening later this summer. And lastly, I hope you all will join us for our next IAD webinar on July 13th at 4 p.m. And I had a slide on that as well, but more details are posted on that webinar on our website as well. So again, Melissa and Edgar, thank you so much. It was so awesome. We loved having you today. And thanks to everyone for your time. My extreme gratitude for everyone's time. So
yes, absolutely.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.